Ever get that feeling, when you're staring up at a really dark sky, like truly dark, millions of stars just blazing away?
Yeah.
And I remember being a kid, just totally lost in that vastness, and this thought would always pop up. Are there other eyes out there looking back at this same universe?
It's a question that's haunted humanity for as long as we've looked up, and it's at the heart of what we call the Fermi Paradox.
Okay.
It's not about proving aliens don't exist. Not exactly. It's more like, well, the universe is huge E, right?
Yeah.
The odds say life should be out there,
Right.
but the silence is deafening.
Yeah, it's like knowing a party is happening somewhere,
Yep.
but you can't find the address,
Oh, I like that.
no matter how many maps you check.
That's a great analogy. And the irony is, this whole paradox, this mind-blowing concept, it supposedly started with a bunch of physicists just chatting over lunch.
You're kidding. Please tell me they were at least having some gourmet alien-themed food or something.
Right. Sadly, no word on the menu.
Oh.
But the physicist at the heart of it was Enrico Fermi, brilliant mind. And he just casually drops this logic bomb. If our galaxy alone has billions of stars, many way older than our sun, even a TINY fraction having planets with life,
Right.
statistically, someone should have dropped by Earth by now.
Yeah.
Just to say hi.
Right, like swing by,
Yes.
borrow some sugar, abduct a cow, the usual.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like winning the lottery, but then finding out no one else in history ever has.
Yeah.
Makes you question the whole game.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And the text we're diving into really lays out those numbers. Our Milky Way, 400 billion stars, likely trillions of planets.
Wow.
And that's just one galaxy among hundreds of billions in the observable universe.
Oh my gosh.
It's enough to make your head spin.
Yeah. So we've got a universe practically overflowing with planets,
Right.
yet no interstellar welcome wagon.
Right.
But before we get into the why of it all, why should this even matter to us down here on Earth? Is this just a fun thought experiment, or is there something more to it?
This is where the Fermi Paradox gets really interesting because it pushes us beyond just finding aliens.
Right.
It forces us to examine some fundamental questions about our place in the cosmos. How unique is Earth?
Okay.
Are the paths to intelligent life incredibly rare, or are there universal patterns playing out?
Right, right.
And maybe, even a bit unnervingly,
Okay.
are there common traps that civilizations fall into?
Okay, so it's less about finding ET and more about figuring out if we're on track to be the next cautionary tale in the galactic history books.
Well,
Comforting.
putting it that way might be a tad dramatic.
Okay.
But the sentiment isn't entirely off base. Understanding the potential fates of other civilizations could hold vital clues for our own future.
All right, I'm hooked. Hit us with some of these explanations. Our source hopefully provides us with a whole list.
It does, it does.
What's first up on this cosmic game board of possibilities?
All right.
So are we dealing with a cosmic case of too few tickets sold?
Yeah.
Or is the party just that exclusive?
Well, our first explanation dives right into the rare Earth hypothesis. It suggests that while basic life might be pretty common out there, the kind that builds spaceships and debates philosophy, that might be the real prize ticket.
So we lucked out twice. Once with life itself, and then again with it evolving to be, well, us.
In a nutshell, this text compares it to winning the lottery.
Right.
Not just once, but twice in a row.
Oh, wow.
It suggests that the conditions on Earth, our specific mix of ingredients, might be incredibly unlikely to find repeated anywhere else.
I guess that's both flattering and a little isolating, isn't it? Like being the only one who showed up in costume to a party.
Precisely. It begs the question, what are the odds?
Right.
And if those odds are astronomically small, does that mean we truly are alone in our corner of the universe?
Okay, but let's say for a moment that other intelligent civilizations have managed to evolve elsewhere.
Okay.
Our source also mentions the idea that maybe, just maybe, they don't stick around long enough to make contact. What's that all about?
This is where things take a bit of a darker turn.
Ooh.
The text explores the possibility that reaching a certain level of technology might be inherently self-destructive.
Oh, okay.
Like a built-in expiration date for any civilization that gets too big for its britches.
So instead of a cosmic welcome wagon, we get a warning sign.
Yeah.
Reach this level of tech. Self-destruction imminent. Yikes.
It's a sobering thought, to be sure.
Yeah?
Think about the challenges we face today. Nuclear weapons, climate change, the ethical dilemmas of artificial intelligence. These are issues that could easily lead to our own downfall if we're not careful.
And maybe that's the great filter you mentioned earlier. The hurdle that most civilizations can't seem to clear.
It's certainly a possibility. What if this is a pattern? Technological advancement leading to self-annihilation. It would certainly explain the lack of interstellar house calls.
It paints a pretty bleak picture, though.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if it's even worth trying to reach out. Or if we should just focus on not blowing ourselves up first.
While that's a valid concern,
Right.
there's another side to this coin, a possibility that offers a slightly less ominous perspective.
Okay.
What if, and this is purely hypothetical, of course,
Right.
what if advanced civilizations choose not to contact us?
Oh, so it's not that they can't reach out, they just don't want to. Ouch, my ego.
Not necessarily a deliberate snub. Think of it more like, well, imagine for a moment that you're a park ranger
Okay.
in a pristine wilderness.
Okay.
You wouldn't want to disrupt the natural order of things, would you?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or,
I see where you're going with this. Like, we're the ant farm they're observing.
yes.
But they don't want to influence our development.
Exactly. It's often called the galactic zoo hypothesis.
Oh, okay.
The idea that we're being observed,
Right.
studied perhaps,
Right.
but from a safe distance. They might be waiting for us to reach a certain level of maturity, technological or otherwise, before making their presence known.
That's both fascinating and slightly creepy.
Right.
Like knowing you're on camera, but not knowing who's watching or why.
Indeed. And it raises all sorts of questions about the ethics of such observation, the potential impact on our development. But for now, it remains a compelling, if unsettling, explanation for the Fermi Paradox.
Okay, but let's say for a moment that these advanced civilizations aren't deliberately hiding from us.
Okay.
What if our whole understanding of life is just too limited?
This is where the Fermi Paradox intersects with our own capacity for imagination.
Okay.
We tend to search for what we know,
Right.
for life as we understand it.
Right.
But what if that understanding is fundamentally flawed?
Like we're looking for radio signals when they're communicating via telepathic fungi networks or something.
A humorous example,
Yeah.
but it highlights the point. Our source reminds us that we've barely scratched the surface of understanding our own oceans, let alone the vast unexplored realms of space.
So alien life might not just be out there, it might be so different from what we expect that we wouldn't even recognize it.
Precisely. It could be based on entirely different biochemistry,
Right.
existing in forms or dimensions we haven't even begun to comprehend. Imagine a life form that doesn't need water or oxygen, that thrives in environments we consider uninhabitable.
Okay, now we're talking. That's the kind of mind-blowing possibility that keeps me coming back to these big cosmic questions. It really puts our own assumptions into perspective, doesn't it?
It certainly does. We often get caught up in searching for reflections of ourselves.
Right.
But the universe might be full of surprises that challenge our very definition of life itself.
It makes you wonder if we're even asking the right questions.
Yeah.
Or if we're missing the answers right in front of our noses because we're so focused on our own narrow view.
That's a profound thought.
Yeah.
And one that's worth holding on to as we delve deeper into the Fermi Paradox. Because sometimes the most important discoveries come from challenging our preconceived notions,
Oh, right.
embracing the unknown.
Well said. I'm ready to keep this exploration going. What other explanations does our source offer up for this cosmic silence?
Okay, so we've covered some pretty wild possibilities.
We have.
Rare Earths,
Yeah.
self-destructing civilizations, cosmic zoos,
Allow-
and life as we don't even know it. But what if the answer's a bit more, well, basic?
Okay.
What if it's just really hard to get around this universe? Like, even if you've got the keys to a cosmic hot rod,
Right.
space is just really, really big.
Ah, yes, the classic reality check of interstellar travel. Even with technology that would make our current rockets look like toys.
The distances involved are just staggering.
Right.
Our source reminds us that even light itself, the fastest thing we know of, takes years to cross the gulf between stars.
Right, and it's not like we're sending instant messages here. Imagine a signal taking centuries to reach its destination.
Right.
I can barely stay focused on a text conversation for 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Dang,
Then
yeah.
that's assuming the signals even remain strong enough to be detected over
Yeah.
such vast distances. The challenges are immense, and it makes you wonder, is it even worth the effort?
Maybe some civilizations just hit a point where they're like, you know what, this whole reaching out thing is more trouble than it's worth. Let's just focus on perfecting our sourdough recipe and binge watching the latest supernova.
Maybe. a perfectly valid point.
Right.
But let's not forget the vastness of time as well.
Right.
Our understanding of civilization is limited to a tiny blip on the cosmic timescale. What if other civilizations rose and fell long before humans even walked the Earth?
Oh, so you mean like a cosmic game of ships passing in the night?
Right.
Or maybe civilizations passing in the eons is more accurate.
Precisely. Imagine an alien species visiting Earth millions of years ago, maybe even leaving a few footprints behind.
Right.
But those footprints are long gone, eroded by time, buried beneath layers of geological history.
That's both fascinating and a little humbling, isn't it? We tend to think of ourselves as the main characters in the story of Earth, but what if we're just a late chapter in a much longer saga?
It's a humbling thought indeed. It speaks to the possibility that the universe might be full of ghost civilizations, remnants of intelligent life that we may never even know existed.
Okay, so we've got civilizations that are too far away,
Right.
too short-lived, or too long gone to make contact.
It's possible.
But there's one last possibility we haven't touched on yet, right?
Okay, yeah.
The one where we're the ones setting the table for the first time.
Yes, the pioneer hypothesis. The idea that, against all odds, we might be the first civilization to reach this level of development in our corner of the galaxy. A lonely thought, perhaps?
Yeah.
But also one filled with a unique kind of responsibility.
It's like showing up to that party we talked about earlier. But this time, we're the ones who have to figure out the music, the snacks, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
Right.
Precisely. If we truly are the first, then we have a unique opportunity and perhaps a moral obligation to learn from the potential pitfalls that might have befallen other civilizations. To choose a different path, one that leads to a brighter future, not just for ourselves, but for any other intelligent life that might be out there listening.
No pressure, right?
Yeah.
Just the fate of intelligent life in the galaxy resting on our shoulders.
A daunting thought, to be sure, but also a thrilling one. It reminds us that we're not just passive observers in this vast cosmic drama. We have a role to play, a story to write, and the choices we make today could echo through the universe for eons to come.
Wow, that took a philosophical turn.
A little bit, yeah.
But seriously, this whole deep dive into the Fermi Paradox has been quite a ride. We've gone from the depths of despair to the heights of cosmic responsibility, all without leaving our chairs.
And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? The Fermi Paradox doesn't offer easy answers, but it forces us to ask profound questions about ourselves, our place in the universe, and the very nature of existence. It's a reminder that the most important journeys are often those that challenge our assumptions and push us to expand our understanding of what's possible.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yes.
we're left with more questions than answers. But hey, isn't that what makes exploring the universe so damn interesting?
It is. The mystery keeps us going, keeps us looking, keeps us asking those questions. And who knows, maybe someday, out there in that vast expanse of space and time, we'll find the answers we're looking for. Or, perhaps even more intriguing, we'll stumble upon questions we never even thought to ask.
Right. And on that note of cosmic mystery and endless possibility, we'll leave you to ponder those big questions. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Fermi Paradox. Until next time, keep looking up, keep asking those big questions, and never stop exploring the wonders of the universe, both within and beyond our reach.